On Coruscant, Karn starts a new job at the Bureau of Standards. Colonel Yularin announces that the ISB has gained more surveillance and punitive authority, while Miro is challenged by Belevin for breaking protocol by accessing Imperial data without authorization. She persuades her superiors of her work's value and is assigned oversight of Ferrix. Luthen's assistant Clea instructs Vel to find and kill Cassian, as he knows Luthen's identity. Mon Mothma meets with Tay Kolma, an old friend and banker, and asks him to help her access family funds. Cassian returns to Ferrix to settle old debts and learns that people blame him for the corporate security crackdown. The presence of stormtroopers on Ferrix reminds Cassian of how his adoptive father Clem was murdered by Imperial clone troopers during the protests on Rix Road. Cassian attempts to get Marva to leave Ferrix with him, but she decides to stay and oppose the increased Imperial presence. Cassian travels to the tropical tourist paradise of Nyamos, adopting the name Keith Gurgo. Sometime later, while walking towards a local store, he is unjustly arrested by a short trooper and sentenced to 6 years of imprisonment. That is the synopsis of Episode 7 of Star Wars Andor, and it's entitled Announcement. And oh boy, did Cassian get himself in a pickle, if you will, and he's now facing 6 years of imprisonment. Pretty much basically just because he looked guilty. He was just walking there on his way to the store, and that short trooper, the first time I ever heard that, instead of stormtrooper, is a short trooper. And he pretty much looked like he was just feeding him words, like in the sense that every time he would say something, he'd be like, "Oh, well, you're running. I'm not running. No, you look guilty. Why do I look guilty? Like, you know." And after all this, Cassian returns to his adoptive mother, you know, and he's trying to persuade her to go with him, Marva, and she decides to stay. He's too old for this, that's what she said. And then Cassian doesn't even realize that he's got himself into a bind, into a situation where Vel, is told by Clea, who is the assistant to Luthen, to kill. She tells Vel to kill Cassian. And him, he's not going to be saying anything. I doubt it about Luthen, even though he does know his identity. But I think Luthen's looking to kind of like sew up any kind of loose ends, and to him, I feel that that's what he thinks about Clem, or I should say, to Cassian. He did get to visit Bix, and she's telling him, you gotta get out of here. You shouldn't be around here. He gives her 12,000 credits, I should say, to pay off these people. He named them all off and said it should be enough. And remember Tim, how he's the one that told on Cassian, and that's why all these problems. This situation is because of the heist, all those about 80 million credits. So, they don't want him around. He's not very welcome in his own place there. And, he wanted to go with Marva, and he had enough money to go elsewhere. Get out of this cold, like you said, and let's go somewhere warm and tropical. But then that's that, and then over on where Miro is, she kind of I love the fact that she kind of got one over on Belevin. He's trying to like throw her under the bus. He's trying to get her to a position where he can get her in trouble, and then one of the superiors there pretty much sides with her, assigns her, oversight of Ferrix. And you look at the guy Blevins' face, and he's kind of like not realizing like what the hell just happened, and when he's walking her down, her commander was whatever walking her down. One of her superiors was walking down the hallway there. He's like going, "Watch your back, watch out." Like he has her back. He knows what she's up to, but he kind of looks at that as good incentive. I mean, not good incentive. What's that word? Good initiative. You know. He looks at what he's doing as you're too focused on it, and she's looked at as she's doing something constructive, helping the Empire, helping the ISB. And Blevins looking at her like, yeah, you're a rogue agent, someone who can't be trusted. And he's all cocky and everything, and he's like just looking over at the superior there, and it's just like, you know, he pretty much listened to what he said. He appreciates what he said, and he appreciates what Miro does, but it's like he sided more with her, and like I said, tells her to watch her back. So he's kind of giving her some advice. He knows what she's up to. Why would he say watch her back? I guess maybe because Blevin, maybe there's others that are going to kind of gun for her, and they're gunning for her, and they're going to try to get her in trouble like Blevin did. But there's some people that are looking over at Blevin like, you fucked up, you messed up. And that's that. It blew up in his face. This episode really is just a calm down. It's like the aftermath, but it's pretty much everything kind of is coming to this a pause. It's like after the insanity and the overall just everything just coming apart. Everything came together, but then everything fell apart. Now they're on the run. Now they have to kind of like get out of there and get as far away as they can. A lot of chaos, losing a lot of people. Nemec and Skeen and Tamarin, Gorn, At least with Cinta, she had one of those land speeders, or something that looked like one. It looked like a different version of it, but she got away. She's off somewhere. She looked like she was back to where they were before. And even Bell, asked, like, where is she? Was it? And Clea says, she's off doing what she's supposed to do. Pretty much saying that don't ask about it. Just she's there. You got other things to worry about, namely taking out Cassian Andor. And you got you have Mon Mothma, who's pretty much she kind of confided in old Tay Kolma there, her old friend, and asking him for help. And when he asked her, she pretty much said, "No, I'm not who you think I am. Like, nobody knows who I am. They think I'm one person, but I'm not that person." And she's deep in what, along with Luthen, and she knows what about the. Well, she actually didn't know. She actually was kind of like, she confronted Luthen and said, "You didn't just do what I think you did." That is the whole thing of that heist of that 80 million credits. And he pretty much said that you know what's going on. You know that this is what's going to happen. Almost like saying, don't act like you're surprised, or don't act like, And every time that guy, her friend, would say, you still haven't told me what it is, and she said, well, it's better that you don't know. All she wants is his help. He's a banker. I don't know if that is a way of helping her to fund whatever thing they're doing in attempts to kind of take on the Empire. Even Palpatine, during that meeting in the ISB, he was brought up. He's on his way. When Cinta looked up, you hear like a big commotion in the air, and it's like one of those Imperial Stars. What do you call those Imperial Star Cruisers? And that's where Palpatine, I'm sure, is riding in that thing. And So are we going to see Palpatine? Are we going to see him there? Is he going to make an appearance in this series? Maybe next episode. Who knows? That'd be something. A blast from the past. Well, even though this thing is before, episode 6, before A New Hope, or episode 4. Yeah, episode 4. I said episode 6, episode 4. But yeah, I like this episode. Very, very good. I like how it pretty much just everything was just like I said, it was just basically just an episode. Wasn't too much commotion, too much fighting, too much this. It's just all about just dialogue, really. Some little action here and there, but a lot of it was dialogue driven. A lot of it was just the characters, and we'll see what happens with the next episode. I'm looking forward to rounding off the series and finishing it up. And this is episode 7, and we got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We got 5 more episodes left. This went 12 episodes, so it's like, cause when I started doing my recap and thoughts on this series, it was the same day that they aired the last episode. So playing catch up, but I enjoyed the series. So I go at my own pace. The series that I am doing on time and when it comes out, is The Last of Us, which is a great series on HBO Max, based on the popular video game, the successful video game of the same name. And I'm also doing House of the Dragon, which I'm rounding that up to, and that is an amazing series as well. And for those of you who stop by and check out my video, you see that I'm doing not only that, but I'm also series, but I'm also doing movie reviews, and I'm also doing trailer reactions. I just did a recent one called the Mandalorian Season 3, the official trailer. I've done Megan, which the movie is now on streaming service now, so I'm going to watch that probably this weekend and do a review on that film. I'm looking forward to seeing that one, because even though I have a issue with dolls when it comes to dolls in horror movies, but I'm gonna sit through it, and I'm gonna hopefully enjoy it, because it's gonna give me flashbacks of my cousin who had those dolls that were pretty freaky and pretty scary. And let's see what happens. But anyway, that's my recap and thoughts on episode 7, entitled Announcement, from for Star Wars Andor. Diego Luna really is a great actor, and he definitely deserved his nominations, that he got for the Critics' Choice Award and for the Golden Globe. And I enjoyed him in this, and I can't wait to see how it ends and how it continues on way towards Rogue One. And after I finish this series, I'm definitely going to check out Rogue One, so I can see how it connects and to see how seamless it is, if it does go right into the series and it seems like it's connected well, or are you going to see a little different? Like, it's going to be like, oh, how come Diego Luna looks more younger in Rogue One, and he doesn't, but of course this is done afterwards, so for him, he's much older now, but I think he pulls it off. I think he does. But anyway, before I go too long on this video, I'm going to end it here. And again, for those of you who stopped by and checked out this video, I appreciate it. And in closing, as always, take care.